quality Deuce and Mo podcast first thoughts.
Nah.
But we have to come on live and talk about what just went down. It's 4th of July weekend. 6th of July is coming up, my day. But when the Kings make a move, we're like, we got to talk about it.
We said we were going to go live every time.
We were. So biggest thing you could do right now if you really support Deuce and Mo is, wait, time out in the chat. Boise, can you hear us okay? How do we sound? How's the connection? Does it look all right? Let us know. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Hit the thumbs up too. Oh, what's up, Paul? Hit the thumbs up. Live reaction from the road. This was not planned. Kingsland, Kevin Huerter. We got that out. Okay.
Cool.
So did you share that
Yeah,
already?
I already shared it.
Okay. Sounds great. Looks great. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. All right. We'll wait for a few more people to get on in here and we'll talk about this for a little bit. But yeah, the Kings just made a pretty significant deal, an aggressive deal. I mean, we're 2 days into the offseason and holy shit, the Kings are being active.
You guys, for everyone that's already here right now, how fun is that? Like, it's just fun to be able to say that the Kings are actually doing, I don't even want to say like being aggressive. I just want to say like doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like making the team better, and making moves. Like, there's just competence in this front office.
What's that? Scared money, don't give up.
Scared money, don't make no money.
Traded Deuce and Mo studio for Kevin Huerter. Yeah, I know. A couple things. We're supposed to be off for a few days. So, this is just like, we gotta do this.
Meet up, make this happen, let's go.
All right, we'll wait for another minute or so. Let's get more people.
This is hilarious.
But Bertman, it's not, there's no driving being done right now, okay?
Oh, yeah, no.
You think Morgan is just like not?
Hey, let me talk Kevin Huerter.
All right, let me take a sip of water. God, what a stretch. What a stretch.
I know.
Brian says Monchi's best offseason to date.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Deuce and Mo podcast. Coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hit my music. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo.
The podcast that you know.
You don't know the fucking lyrics?
I thought it was they tell you what they know.
They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
The podcast that you know. Boom.
Oh, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. Obviously an impromptu podcast. Did not anticipate that we would be live over the next couple of days because we didn't know if the Kings were going to be making any more moves. Well, they just made a big one, a very significant one, a trade sending Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless, and a future first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks for Red Velvet. Kevin Huerter coming back to the Sacramento Kings. Morgan, I want to talk about, obviously, all the aspects of the trade, but your first reaction to the news that Kevin Huerter is now a member of the Sacramento Kings.
Well, you got to hear me. And you guys, I was excited when I heard he was going to be in a deal with John Collins, possibly to the Kings. I was just looking at him as a shooter. He was obviously a Kings killer when he played the Kings. So it's always nice to actually put the Kings killers on your team so they can't kill you anymore, right? But he's a 6'7" shooter, and he's a guy that can shoot the ball well. But again, just going back even to that game against the Kings, you saw how he can also attack the rim. I love that the Kings are adding so many more outside threats. This is going to open up things for De'Aaron Fox. This is going to open up so many more options for guys to actually cut through, slash through the paint, and Sabonis to find them.
All right, so the Kings made a decision that they're going to go with this Fox-Sabonis pairing.
Yeah.
With that pairing, you need shooting. And we could debate the path all day long. We could talk about, oh, they should have just rebuilt. What they're not doing that, okay? So they're trying to end this playoff drought. And if you're going to end it, end it. You got to get some talent, and you need shooting. I think yesterday was a huge step in getting Malik Monk, who not only can shoot, attack, play make, does a lot of nice things out there. And then you land Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter, it's not cheap. This trade was not cheap. You took a couple of expiring deals and a protected first-round pick. We'll get into those details in a second. It's a protected pick, so it's not like they got him for nothing. And Kevin Huerter makes $15 million.
Yeah.
Shooting is at a premium in this league. He's coming off career highs field goal percentage. His three-point percentage right around 39%. So now all of a sudden this Kings offseason, they go from having not really any legitimate three-point shooters besides Harrison Barnes to adding Keegan Murray, who shot it well in college, Malik Monk, 40% back-to-back years, and now Kevin Huerter, right around 39%.
You also traded for a guy that's 23 years old, right?
Wow.
I love this. You're seeing these Kings guys more around the same age. And why that matters? Because hopefully this is a squad that can actually develop together, grow together. They can understand each other at a different level, all being in their mid-20s together. I didn't even realize Kevin Huerter was that young.
Yeah.
So that makes me even more excited when I do look at this deal and what the Kings had to deal to get Huerter here.
23 years old. His role, what is it going to be with the Kings? You know, he primarily played shooting guard the last couple of years, has played some small forward. You know, he's 6'7". No one's going to claim he's a defensive stopper. Now, if you really want to pinpoint Sacramento right now, where they're at as a team, defense is still problematic.
Oh, I mean, it's bad.
Keegan Murray hopefully can give them some sort of lift defensively.
Yeah.
Davion, we know what he can do. It's all going to hinge on De'Aaron Fox. But from an offensive standpoint, this team looks like they've got a pretty potent group. And we're not even like talking about, okay, could Davion shoot it better? Can Sabonis shoot it a little better? Could Fox? You know, I think this offense has a chance to really be special, getting up and down the floor, getting shooters everywhere. And that's the one thing with Huerter. He's not just a guy that just shoots threes. Like, he can attack, he can play make a little bit. He had that game in Sacramento where he looked like prime Kevin Durant against the Kings. But again, it was against the Kings. But I think Huerter does a lot of nice things out there. Morgan brought up the age. Man, he's 23, going to be 24. He's under team control. So that's significant. And like, I think another thing we have to acknowledge about this Kings offseason is they've gotten younger. Like, you know, you think about the roster right now, who's the oldest? Is Harrison Barnes the oldest player?
Like, what, 30?
Yeah, he's 29, 30 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless, and then you get a 23-year-old, you draft a 21, 22-year-old in Keegan Murray. You add Keon Ellis on a two-way deal. Malik Monk is, 24 years old. You know, Fox, 24, 25. I mean, the timeline thing, I'm not acting like that totally matters, but they definitely got younger, and they got more athletic. So far, and we're still early, who the hell knows what else could happen in free agency, like, or in the trade season. Like, there's a lot that can still happen.
You guys, I don't usually feel very and I talk about this all the time about I don't feel optimistic about moves until I see things happen. Usually, with some of the moves that in free agency, getting Malik Monk, trading for Kevin Huerter, obviously having a guy in Sabonis, that alone makes me believe in this Kings roster so much more than I have before. I think so many years we've looked at like just a scramble of guys, right? And we talked about, though, how many times there's been coaches throughout Kings history. It's like, this is your ingredients, make it a cake. Make it the best cake you can make. Well, Monty McNair is giving Mike Brown the right ingredients. You know, some might call them like the Kirkland brand ingredients or however you want to put it.
No, I mean, he's giving them offensive ingredients for sure. Now it's going to be on Mike. Mike's challenge is defensively.
But my whole point is, you know, he's getting these ingredients, and it's like, make this into a solid basketball team. Now, just like Deuce was just saying, I was going to say, yes, that's what they are going to be, especially on the offensive end. You're going to see a lot of good things, but on the defensive end, you're going to see a lot of struggles, right? But if Mike Brown can put together a system where these guys buy in and understand what they need to do in this system, good enough things
Right.
can happen.
Right.
Not great things, most likely. Not having some top defenders on your squad. We're gonna see the nights where it's like Kevin Huerter is a defensive liability. Malik Monk, couldn't get over in time. His athleticism isn't gonna be enough. But at least you're still upgrading individual players.
The biggest thing you could do right now, because we are live when we're not supposed to be live at all, obviously, is hit the thumbs up button. Let's get this going. I see 347 people watching us live. That's a solid number.
Let's go.
Let's get the thumbs up to like 200 right now as we are live talking about the Kevin Huerter deal. He is headed to the Sacramento Kings. They also gave up the pick, and that is something that I think when you first saw it, first round, what's that mean? Look, it's a first round pick. Let's not act like as if they're not valuable. It's protected. It's a lottery protected pick in 2024. Then it gets to top 12, then top 10. But the challenge there for Sacramento is when you have protections on first round picks, you can't trade other picks during that time. That's what makes it really challenging. And, you also go, do you give up a first round pick for a potential role player? I think the best case scenario for Sacramento would be just, make the playoffs next year, convey it next year, you lose a first round pick. But if you get a guy who's 23 years old, under team control, that has gotten better every year, you get it. I think it's a calculated risk. Monty's trying to put this team together to put Sabonis in a position to succeed Fox. You have to have the shooting around him, and they have definitely improved the shooting with Keegan Murray, with Malik Monk, and now Kevin Huerter. They're younger. So far, I like it. I'm very fascinated to see what else they could do, because I think they to get some sort of piece, whether there's some sort of rim protection or a defender, would be really nice.
It'd be really
Mike
nice.
Brown.
I mean, we've talked about Derek Jones Jr., even that type of player where it's like offensively they're not going to give you much, but then you can get that scrappy guy that's going to give it their all defensively and knows how to play defense at a high level. Yes, you want that. There's a lot of holes to still feel. I think it's okay to feel optimistic and excited about some of these moves the last 24 hours.
Morgan, this roster, let me just say the roster, because I know what you're about to do, wet blanket Morgan.
I wasn't going to do anything.
You're about to go, but look at the West. Look at this. I'm looking at this roster now. You got Fox. You got Monk.
I wasn't going to do that.
You've got Kevin Huerter. You got Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, Domantas Sabonis, Rashawn Holmes, Terrence Davis, Davion Mitchell. This is an intriguing group. You got some pieces now. You got shooting. You got some athleticism.
And that's my whole point.
It's looking like a solid team.
That's it. It finally, how many years have the Kings has the Kings just looked like a team with scrambled pieces? Anything you can you get some solid players and make a coach put it together? And that's my point, is Monty is actually giving Mike Brown some good ingredients, some solid players to work with. And I love that. I love that it's not just the randos that are left over. And no offense to some of those guys, because they can find a great role in this league. It's just when you're with the Kings, you're asked to do a lot more.
Mike in the chat, not a big fan of this trade. Yeah, he's talking about how, come on, man, you gave up picks to get Huerter. No, they gave up a first round lottery protected pick. But again, I'm not trying to downplay it, because for a team like Sacramento, if this goes bad, the good news is they still have the lottery there's lottery protection on it. Worst case scenario, they're bad and then it never conveys into anything more than 2 second round picks. Ideally for Sacramento, you're going to be good in 2024 and it gets conveyed, and there you go.
Deuce, also, isn't it? I think it's funny that people go, oh man, you have to do this or you have to do this. Yeah, so breaking news, you have to sometimes give up stuff to actually get good stuff. And Mo Harkless and Justin Holiday weren't going to cut it, right? A pick had to go with it, and it's understandable. And it's also understandable.
Well, you're trading a young player
and
for a
it's
young
also
player.
Understandable to be worried about a pick. I completely understand that, but at the same time, you have to understand. I'd rather have a GM being aggressive when you've been losing for 16 years in a row.
For those who are just joining us, of course, the Kings made a trade. We didn't anticipate doing a podcast because it's a holiday weekend, but we're like, you know what? We got to hop on and talk about this right now. So shout out to everyone here. Hit the thumbs up button. That should be well over 250 by now. Will Z with stat of the day. Kings got 17 wide open three-point attempts per game last year, 15th most in the NBA. They made 36% of them, 28th worst in the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that also is going to be better, right? I mean,
well, you would hope the spacing is just going to get better, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be able to get more open looks because of Fox's penetration, because you have more playmaking. Malik Monk can put the ball on the floor. You know, Davion can create. So I'm interested in seeing what they could do with the offense this year. God, we're getting so many comments. I did want to get Tyler. Tyler was suggesting, he was asking about what if the Kings are a lottery team in 2024. Well, if the Kings are a lottery team in 2024, they have the pick. So
yeah, that's
the other thing. Someone else in the chat mentioning it does open up a roster spot too. So yeah, I mean, this is it's interesting to see how McNair is approaching things. And it's clear that the emphasis this offseason was, how do we get shooting around these guys?
Right.
How do we get younger, get a little more athleticism? And I think the one thing I really like about Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter is they both can put the ball on the floor. They both can make a play for their teammates. And I think that's an underrated thing. Like in today's game, I need guys who could shoot it. I need guys who could put the ball on the floor, make a play for somebody else. I think they're definitely a better team today than 3 days ago,
right.
Like zero doubt, or last week.
And you look at last season, the whole 5-out thing. You know, a whole bunch of guys that can't even shoot the damn ball and are out there, and then you pass around the perimeter, and no one can even play make either. You know, like Deuce was just saying, you just added two guys, Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter, who can put the ball on the floor. Who, if their shots are not falling, they can at least attack. Huerter, 6'7". He's a big guy. He can attack. He can finish at the rim. Monk, you named off some of his field goal percentage yesterday, just within the three-point arc. And it's just, I mean, he's efficient.
Yeah, I mean, we went over Monk's numbers where the catch and shoot three was at 42%. It was right around 40% from three, 72% within 3 feet of the basket. He shot a career high about 56% on twos. And then I was looking at Kevin Huerter's shot chart, and the big jump he made last year was he became so much more efficient, well, in all areas, but specifically at the rim. So I think it's a good pickup for Sacramento. Every trade you make carries some risk, right? And I think there's some out there that would push back and be like, well, you just traded a potential first round pick for a bench player. Well, I mean, if this bench guy is able to give you, 15 points a game, then that turns out okay. 14. Kevin Huerter started 60 games last year for the Atlanta Hawks too. It's not like he hasn't started games, so maybe he does start. I don't know. I'm not acting like the Kings don't have a roster that is flawed. They definitely do, but they're better. They've got more skill. We're not even accounting for the fact that Domantas Sabonis is going to be here for a full year. We saw him last year in 15 games or whatever.
Yeah.
So what's that look like? We saw that Fox was much better. So I think you're just going to see that they can not only add shooting, they got guys who could play make, but they also got some guys who could play off the ball.
Yeah.
And that's important when you've got Sabonis on your team. So I think they're much more explosive today, and I think that's a really good thing for Sacramento. Monty McNair being aggressive.
And you guys, I don't know, Deuce and I are always talking about the possibility of what De'Aaron Fox can be this next season. I think some people laugh at that because they're like, haha, 6th season in, but you'd be surprised how guys grow and mature within even their 5th season at times, like sometimes that's what it takes. And there's something different, I feel like, about De'Aaron Fox's mentality, but now also the pieces around him. Not only the pieces, but then the coaching staff. Is this coaching staff and his teammate in Sabonis going to command so much more movement from him that we see a different point guard, off-ball movement from De'Aaron Fox, really truly understanding the game at such a different level than just head down, user speed, go to the hoop.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Fox, because I think the one thing people could bring up with his time in Sacramento is he hasn't had pieces.
Yeah.
He's got pieces now.
Yes.
He's got guys around him. And he's got smart guys. He's got his old buddy Malik Monk. I mean, I'm watching, they're sharing each other's pictures on IG. Malik Monk, I believe, and Bam Adebayo are in De'Aaron's wedding. So they're close. I think that helps. And I think you're going to see a good group of guys together this year. And we'll see what else. I mean, do they bring over Vezenkov? Does Sasha Vezenkov come over for that last roster spot? That's something to watch too as the offseason unfolds, and we'll see if they do anything else. I'm excited about this. I just, last year was tough to watch.
That was
especially without shooting. It just was really tough, and I think this year is going to be a lot different from that regard.
And you guys, without defense too, that was really tough. But the thing that we were questioning last year defensively so many nights from this entire team was not only their basketball IQ, but their effort. From my understanding, we are not going to be questioning their effort night in and night out. And guess what? That already there will lead to so much competitive play on the court. And I know so many people are like, this is the NBA, it should be competitive. Trust me, if you watched the Kings all last year, you would have witnessed so many damn games where you could actually talk about there being zero effort. And it's so weird to me at times when the guys would play that way. But this season, I just feel like the standards, the identity, there's going to be so many things different.
I mean, I think about previous roster builds in the past, and I'm not acting like this is perfect. We've talked about the defensive things. You see what McNair's trying to do.
Yes.
He's trying to get younger, which he's accomplished that. He's adding some shooting. He understands that if you got Fox and Sabonis, this is what you have to do. The pressure's on him. It's not just the pressure of he's got to get, what's up, Morgan?
No audio? Oh, it says good now.
Okay.
Maybe you're...
Sorry, audio went out. I'm sorry, guys. You got to remember.
You were pushing it. That's what it was.
My bad,
Turn
my
it
bad,
up.
my bad, my bad.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, you think about previous roster builds with Sacramento, and I feel like there were so many times where it was just getting the Costa. It was the pick swap with Philly that they didn't have to make to get Costa Koufis and Rondo and Bellinelli. And you're like, okay, well, what's the ceiling of this group? I think the ceiling's gone up for this group. I'm not trying to pretend like you got a Western Conference contender here, but this Kings team, if Fox has a big year and Sabonis has a big year with the pieces they added, I think they can be a playoff team. I really do. I'm saying that today. I think they can be a playoff team. Now, they're going to have moments where you're like, holy shit, defensively. You can look at me all day. I know. It's July 1st.
It's the West. It's the West, dude. It's not about...
I know it's the West, but okay, let's just bring this up real fast.
What?
By the way, I love no prep time. We're just fucking,
I know. Thanks,
we're just
everyone, for being here.
How about 565 here right now?
Go!
Hit the thumbs up button. Get that to 300. Let's go. Deuce and Mo will be live. It doesn't matter if I'm at my mom's funeral in 2 months and the Kings make a deal. We will be live.
That's way too real.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's a joke. I'm just having fun.
He's just having fun.
Anyway.
Yes.
It's July 1st. I understand the West is beyond competitive. We know the path. It's not going to be easy. I'm not selling you on that. But you could see a world, and I say that with a lot of teams. I mean, even Portland. I like what Portland's done.
Yeah.
They re-signed Simons to a lot of money. Dame's back. They bring back Nurkic today. They get Jeremy Grant. They signed GP2 last night. But they've got flaws. They've got flaws too. A lot of these teams in the West have flaws for sure. And in that kind of bottom tier, can the Kings get in? It's potentially sure.
Deuce, I think you're just feeling good right now. I know.
Hey, remember this July 1st. Remember this. I'm not proclaiming it.
He's not proclaiming it. He's just feeling good.
I just think the Kings have done a good job with the roster
and
right
I
now.
agree. You guys.
They're going to be more fun to watch next year.
Oh, well, I've said that a million times. I agree. You guys, you're going to get a way more competitive, fun product on the floor next year. That is exciting. My only thing is that you even look at a team like Portland, where we question what teams are not going to be making the playoffs in the West. They have Dame effing Lillard.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
It's like they added Jeremy Grant, and who we really do like. And they are looking solid, even though their defense, how is their defense going to improve when they look like pretty much the same team? Well, they got GP2.
And Jeremy Grant.
And Jeremy Grant. 2 solid defenders.
Very.
The Kings, they're adding shooters. They're not filling the holes of the defenders.
Well, and that's fair. That's completely fair.
And I'm just saying that defense can carry you so much further in a postseason or in a play-in.
100%.
And that's where I'm like, they're not making the playoffs still with this roster. But that's me being
the one thing,
realistic.
though, you do need to outscore the opponent to win.
No shit.
You gotta be able to score.
There you go.
Let's talk about this for a second. Can we also acknowledge that the Kings were not good offensively last year? They were not good offensively at all. Also, shout out to Bill who donated $2. Is the car moving? Who's driving? The car is not moving right now. All right, it is not moving.
Oh my God. We would never do that, people.
F says 500 or less. We got this. You guys are killing me. 500 season, here we come. I'm gonna read some of the comments too. Shout out to everyone watching us live right now. We got D-Lo and Casey coming on at noon.
Hell yeah.
We're kind of the they're the main event today.
Yeah.
We're kind of like the pre-show for Mania.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I know. Our shitty just phone go live.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
Tanner mentions Bruce Brown. Well, Bruce Brown just landed with the Nuggets today. TJ Warren or one of the Martin twins would be solid. I would love one of the Martin twins for sure. Marcus says mount the camera, Deuce. I can't. I'm sorry, dude.
Hey, you could put a water bottle up there and mount it. Like push that.
I mean, come on. We are doing this in a car. Can you guys just give us the credit we deserve? Oh yeah, this is a great view right here. Great view.
You just like
look. Can I just say? I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not trying to sell any BS. Okay. I just think that if you're going to choose this path, and we've debated this after the Sabonis trade. All right. I made the case like it made a lot more sense to do the kind of maybe tear down and, you got Mitchell and Halliburton, get draft pick, build that way. But they chose this path. They landed a really talented player in Sabonis. And I am one of the Fox truthers out there that still believes that De'Aaron Fox has another level he can achieve. That De'Aaron Fox, in his 6th year, is ready and understands the moment. I think now, there's no doubt, De'Aaron Fox looked around last year and went, man, do I have enough help?
Yeah.
And I'm not excusing it because he didn't play well either. He was not consistent. But I think that Sabonis move gave him a jolt. And now in the offseason, he was talking about wanting structure. Mike Brown brings structure. He brings a game plan. He brings organization. And now you've got pieces around you. You don't have an excuse. This should not be a 30-win team next year.
No.
So, it's on Fox to have a monster year, the best year of his career, Sabonis to play well, and then you've got some pieces around that will make it, it should be a more entertaining product on the floor, in my opinion.
If they had close to the same roster and Mike Brown came in, I still would have believed that it was going to be a better product on the floor, a more competitive product, just because I truly believe what his coaching staff is bringing in with teaching the game and developing guys is going to be huge. But the fact that Monty is actually doing his job too and is getting different new talent on this squad, valuable talent on this squad, to put around De'Aaron Fox to make his life a little bit easier, especially on that offensive end, is very important. Yes, people, we know many holes to still fill.
And the other thing I want to mention too, buckle up.
Buckle up.
Because as improved as they are, every night in the West is gonna be a challenge. Like, think about this, Morgan. Are you taking a call right now? Sorry. Your phone was ringing. You were looking as if you were going to answer the call. Well, we're live on YouTube.
I was declining it.
It took you too long to do that. Anyway, it wouldn't be a podcast of me and Morgan to get into it. Every night in the West is going to be a challenge. Like, who's the easy game in the West? Right? Houston's young. They're not going to be good this year. OKC still young. They could be better. You could see a world where they compete. San Antonio's going into tank mode. But, like, every other game is going to be hard. You know, you got to be ready every night. There's no cakewalks in the Western Conference. So, I know if someone's saying Deuce hella excited, you know why I'm just excited because it looks like there is a competent roster coming together.
That's it.
And it's going to be frustrating defensively at times, I think. But is it going to be any more frustrating than years past?
No.
Probably not. And maybe, again, we're playing perfect world here for a second, Morgan.
What's perfect world?
Perfect world is Fox is ready to play defense because he is capable of playing very good defense. And if he brings it defensively, if the team defense can be all right, you're not trying to go from 30th in defense to 10th. Can you go from 30th to 22?
Yes.
And then if you have a really good offense,
22, I like that.
That's a fun team.
Yeah, that's all you're trying to really, it's growth, right, guys? Like, you're not adding Kevin Durant to your roster. And that's why, and if you are adding Kevin Durant ever to your roster, then of course it's championship or bust.
Yeah.
It's growth. It's sustainability. It's not adding Rajon Rondo, you know, it's adding actual sustainable, younger talent around the pieces that you said last year by not trading him, especially, and trading Tyrese Halliburton instead, saying, hey, this is our guy, this is our future, Fox and Sabonis, that's what we need to build around. And that's what he's doing. I like it. You're choosing a path.
This is the path they chose. You're right.
Exactly. So I'm down for a path.
Let's read some comments. I appreciate everyone joining us live. 600 plus people. Let's get to that's a 400 thumbs up right now. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, you should, because we will go live in a car if there's a trade. We will go live. I said it at my mom's funeral. You didn't like that.
I mean, you could say it. There's just probably too close.
Just know you're getting content left and right. Let's see here. Gotta bring in Boogie. No, you do not. I don't know how that helps. Last move needed for the Kings, Caleb/Cody Martin. I love that those guys, because they're twins, it's like, we'll take either one. It doesn't matter. They kind of do the same thing anyway. Josh Okogie. Okogie's name's interesting because that could be a cheaper guy, and his connection with Mike Brown from the Nigeria national team. He's a free agent. TJ Warren is mentioned. Derrick Jones Jr. Yeah. And I don't know. Do they bring in Sasha? Do they make some other moves too? Like the offseason's just getting started. So who knows if there's going to be anything else that transpires.
Yeah. I'm hoping you got, that was the other thing too. I was telling Deuce before we came on, I was like, look, or maybe I even said this on, I don't even know, but I was talking about with Mo Harkless and Justin Holiday. Those were two guys that weren't making a big enough impact on the floor at all, but at the same time, like, they were technically going to be your defensive guys, right? The guys that you add out there when you need more size, when you have those mismatches. You don't have that defensively really now. There's going to be a lot, too, on Keegan Murray and what he has to offer with his size, even as a rookie, you know?
No, it's fair. And Davion's defense is really talented, but who else? There's a comment I was going to read.
My bad.
I think Ryan was asking, is this the best Kings roster in years? And it's like, I can't really think of another one that you'd be like, I can't. I mean, there was a couple of years of the Boogie teams that you wondered, okay, you know, that final year of DeMarcus when they like signed Matt Barnes, that group was kind of interesting. And you know, you wondered, like, even the 39 win team, I don't think anyone's going to act like that roster was like stacked. No. It was a bunch of young guys, and then Shump really brought some things together for that group.
And Jaeger knew how to manage those guys. He
maximized that roster big time. I just need to double check. I think my phone is about to die here. So,
no way?
Yeah. I just want to say shout out to everyone being here. We'll definitely have more on this. Me and Morgan may have to record like an audio version later with our thoughts, but we just want to hop on, offer our first thoughts on the Kings landing Kevin Huerter in a trade with the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Kings they got better, especially offensively today, and this was a bad offensive team. So overall, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what else could happen. It's July 1st.
I was going to say, take this into the holiday weekend and enjoy yourself, right? Just like feel a little bit more optimistic going into this season that you're going to see a different team, and that's exciting enough.
Let's end with a few comments. Chat, I need to know how overall you're feeling about the first few days of the offseason. I mean, think about the last week. You land Keegan Murray with the 4th pick. You trade for Huerter, and then you land Malik Monk in free agency. What do you think? Ivan in the chat says Barnes for OG. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would never happen. And now, I mean, that trade seems even more improbable for OG, just from the standpoint that the Kings aren't able to trade a pick at this point. Which, again, that's one area where this trade, you go, that's tough. That's tough, because now that you can't move that pick because of the protections that the pick you gave up has over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and it is so funny too, because like I feel like I am the realist of this podcast. I'm very realistic going into every season. I still don't feel like with this roster today the Kings are going to make the playoffs in the Western Conference.
I think there's a chance, and that's fine.
And that's what we don't have to agree.
That's fine. And I'm not. I just need to make this clear, because I know a lot of people. Juice, you sound so excited. I'm excited because I think it's going to be more fun to watch. I think there's a chance that this team can come together. If everything went right, it could be really fun next year. But there's the biggest question you have is, what can they do defensively? I think one thing I would push back on, also, we should know Derek Jones Jr. is not available. He's returning to the Bulls on a 2-year deal. That just came in. I think Malik Monk's defense the last couple of years has been improved. He has done a much better job defensively. What's up, Morgan?
No, nothing. People are giving all their grades.
Oh, okay. Wow. Hey, you guys are loving that. Wow.
Yeah. I think minus.
I think Malik Monk's been better defensively the last couple of years, which is encouraging to me. I think the way Malik Monk's career started, it was, he wasn't getting a ton of opportunity in Charlotte. Then he had the drug suspension. Since that point, he's looked like a completely different guy. I think he's matured on and off the floor. I think him and Fox being together is going to be a big thing. But yeah, I mean, I think defensively is the biggest question mark. Is you can tout Mike Brown's defensive acumen and his resume and what he was able to get out of maybe non-defensive players, the Warriors, but the Warriors still had GP2. They still had Otto Porter and Draymond and Clay to a certain extent coming off the injury. So they still had defensive pieces. The Kings at this point, you can't look up and down the roster and see a ton of defensive guys with defensive reputations. They have guys that I think are capable defenders, and that's really, if you're Mike Brown, that's training camp, right? Is getting a team defensive concept in place that you can play some respectable defense, because I think the offense is going to be there. It's defensively is the biggest question.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Love you guys. Get the 400 thumbs up. Spread the word. Subscribe. Thanks so much for being with us. The phone's about to die. We love you guys so much, but we gots to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.
Shout out Vince. Thanks, Vince, for the donations.